Oh, hey there, guys. Mr. Duth here. Going to talk to you about email today. This is the first video in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing while we're all stuck at home during this school closure thing. That's kind of crazy. And my hope is that you can learn some new things about some of these technology tools that a lot of us use all the time. So I thought the best place to start would be email, because whether you want to admit it or not, email's not going anywhere. And the older you get, the more you're going to use email. And when you get a job someday, or if you go to college someday, or whatever, you're going to be using email. Email is just kind of the way we communicate in the 21st century. So it's really important that you understand how to utilize it. Okay. So I'm just going to basically show you today how to send a good email. Okay. I could spend hours talking about all of these other features that you see in Gmail, which is what we're looking at right now. I don't have time to do that. This is my fifth time trying to record this video, and every time I've recorded it, I've taken way too long. So I'm trying to keep this one super short. So today we're going to focus on composing a good email. Now, I have this set up through a fake student account, student@wlu.us. Don't try and send this person email. It won't work. And really, myself and a few other teachers and other people that work at the school district have access to this. It's just set up so that we can test some things out and see how things work for you guys, because as teachers, we don't always see everything that you see. Like when we post something to Google Classroom, for example, we only see the teacher view, but we can't see the student view. So we like to be able to see how things show up for you. Anyways, that's why we're using this fake account today, so that I can show you how to write a good email. Okay, so we clicked compose. It brings up this new message thing. We could make the new message box even bigger like that. I'm not going to do that. I don't really like to write my emails that way. I like to write them this way. The first box that we're looking at here is the to box. Okay, the to box is who you're sending the message to. Duh, that makes sense, right? Now, when we type this in, I'm going to start typing in my name, and you can see that when I start typing it in, it brings up my name. It also brings up my wife's name, okay? And it's because I spelled our last name correctly. If I were to spell this the wrong way, like if I switch the E and the U around, it's not going to autofill. And if I were to go in and send this to duth@waterlooschools.org, that's not my email address, and that's not going to work. It's not going to send. It's super important that whatever you type in the to box up here is typed in exactly the way that it needs to, okay? So we're sending this to evanduth@waterlooschools.org. I don't like the way that's showing up right now. I want it to say duth@waterlooschools. I don't know why it's not showing up over here. It was earlier. But we know that that's correct because Google recognized it and auto-filled it for us. So we want to make sure that that's typed in correctly, okay? Otherwise, it's not going to send. Over here, we have CC and BCC. These are just other ways to add people to a message. It's kind of like a, I don't know, maybe like a group chat in iMessage or something like that. But if I were to add Miss Schilling, for example, you can see I can type in her name and it autofills it. If I were sending this message to Mr. Duth, Miss Schilling might be interested in also reading the contents of this message, but she's not the primary recipient. She's not the one that I'm intending to send it to, but she might benefit from seeing the email too. So a lot of times, like teachers like me, if I'm typing an email to some other teachers, I might type all of the names of the teachers I'm sending it to, and then I might also include Miss Kennedy or Mr. Tooney in the CC field just so that they can see the message as well, because they're the bosses and they like to know what's going on. So that's one of the ways you can use the CC field. BCC is blind carbon copy. We don't really use that a ton, but it's there, and yeah, you can look that up later. The most important thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is right here, the subject field, okay? And that's why I'm obnoxiously moving my mouse around it. Your subject should be between 2 and 5 words. 2 and 5. That's it, okay? No more, no less. Do not type your entire message into the subject box. That's bad. Don't do that, okay? It's really, really bad. It's not what the subject box is intended to do. The subject is a summary of your message, okay? That's really all it is. So we're going to do a little fake email scenario here. So I'm going to say that student at Waterloo or student at wlu.us needs to come in and make up a quiz in my class. And I've told the student that they can email me when they would like to come in and do that. So instead of the student typing, "Can I come to your room at lunch tomorrow to make up my quiz?" That's not going to be a good email. I'll get the point. I'll get the message, and I will understand what this student is trying to communicate to me, but that's not a good subject line. A good subject line for this type of message might be something like this: "Lunch tomorrow? Question mark." Now, when I pull up my email and I look at this message, I can see that I can just look at that subject and know what that message is going to be about before I even read the message, okay? So the next thing you should do in your actual message box is you should type the message. And anytime you're emailing somebody who's older than you or somebody who's higher authority than you, is you should address them formally, okay? So I've written Mr. Duth, comma, and then I put 2 lines between, okay? That's a great way to start an email to a teacher because your teachers are superior to you and we have authority, and you should address us that way. You should address us respectfully and appropriately, okay? So Mr. Duth, comma, I need to make up a quiz from your class. Can I come to your room during lunch tomorrow to make it up? Please let me know. And you can see Google has this great autofill feature. If I hit the tab key, it's going to type in the word "let me know." And then if I keep typing, it'll help me finish the sentence. You should always leave some sort of salutation at the end. Thank you, sincerely, have a great day, something like that, okay? And then you can sign it at the end, okay? This is a great email right here, okay? If I received this email from a student, I would be super impressed, okay? You've got a bunch of other options down here. You can change, things about the font, make it bold, italics. You can change the font, the color, whatever. I'm just going to tell you right now, I wouldn't waste too much time on this. That's really not the purpose of email, to get all fancy with all that stuff. The purpose of email is to communicate a message, okay? So make sure that you summarize the message in your subject line. Make sure that you have the correct recipient for your message. You can add more than one. If I wanted to send this to Miss Schilling and Miss Herrings and, Miss Kennedy, I can add a whole bunch of people to that. I'm not going to bother them with that. They don't need all those emails. But make sure everything is correct. Make sure your message is a really, really good message. Make sure your grammar, your spelling, punctuation, all that is good. When you're ready, you click the blue send button and it will send, okay? You've also got a couple other options down here. You can attach files from your computer. You can also do this on your Chromebook. You can insert a link. It could be a link to a website, or it could be a link to another email address. You've got emojis down here. You've got files from Google Drive. This is great to use because we use Google Drive a lot, and I'm going to show you some ins and outs of Google Drive later on, probably tomorrow. You can insert pictures, and there's another little menu of some other options here. But that's kind of the basics of email, okay? So I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that you learned a few things, and I hope that moving forward, you can write some really, really good emails, okay? I'm going to delete this. I'll show you really quickly what it looks like for me, okay? So here's the email that was sent from the student, and I can see it's from student, and I can see over here the subject, lunch tomorrow. And then you can see the message that I typed, okay? And Google's awesome. It gives me some pre-filled responses that I can click on. And I click on that. It brings up a new message for me. I can click send, or I can add more to the message, whatever I want to do, okay? So Google does some really great things to help you with your email, but there are some things that you need to do as well. So while we're doing this whole school closure thing, like I said, if you need anything, whether it's for school or if you need help on something, or if you just want to chat for a couple minutes, say hey, would love to do that with you. So just let me know. Send me an email now that you know how to write really good emails, okay? And we'll go from there, okay? Stay safe, stay healthy, stay at home if you can, and hopefully we'll get to see each other soon.